Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental A-Team Podcast. Hello, Dental A-Team listeners. This is Kiera, and guess who I've got back on the podcast with me? The one and only TT, Tiffany Trader, Spiffy Tiffy, if you really know her. Tiff, how you doing today?
I'm so good. I had somebody the other day. They were like, Tiffany Trader, and they whipped their head at me. I don't even remember where I was, but they whipped their head at me and they were like, that's a really cool sounding name. And I was like, thanks.
Mm-hmm. It's a
So,
power name. I think, and I mean, it goes like TT, the number of nicknames we've come up with you. And then I've got poor Dana and Danae over there that I'm like, and like Lisa. I mean, I had No BS Brit, Spiffy Tiffy. I think those are my two best. Still working on the rest.
You're a whiz at nicknames. They'll come to you. It's just not their time yet.
It's just not. You need to get on more podcasts with me and then they'll show up.
So. I'm telling you, this is where the magic happens.
It really is. But it's been so long since Tiff and I have podcasted. So I appreciate you getting on. And today, guys, we have a pretty fun podcast. Tiff and I, oh my gosh, I love to go back in the archives. So for those of you who don't know, Tiff and I have worked together for about 7 years. Tiff joined me when the company was about 6 months old. It was a brand new baby. I had barely started consulting. I think I'd maybe consulted like 2 or 3 offices prior to Tiff joining. I literally did not know what the heck I was doing. I needed another consultant. Tiff happened to be, it was like right person, right seat. Like I truly do believe sometimes like Pangea is how I feel like the continents just come back together. Tiff and I just like, I don't know, we just came back together. I feel like we were meant to find each other in this world and we did. And it's been incredible ever since. And Tiff and I have been building Dental A-Team. Everything you see in Dental A-Team, we could go back and pinpoint moments. Like I think about the OM course. Do you remember that day? I remember exactly where I was. I was driving between offices and I'm like, Tiff, I've got this great idea. Like that's how everything starts. Tiff, I got this great idea. You should consult with us. Tiff, I got this great idea that we should make an office manager course. During COVID, we're like, hey, we can't travel anymore. Let's give more support to offices, insert Zoom calls. I remember an office called me and said, Kiera, do you do coaching calls? On the spot, I was like, we absolutely do. I'm like, Tiff, I don't even know what to do for a coaching call, but guess what? We're going to figure this one out. And I didn't know how to do in-person visits. You didn't know how to do it. We've literally just made up things that we wish we would have had more fun with teams. And now I think we can confidently say like, we kind of know what we're doing. So we've been working on another project. It's another labor of love. And because ultimately, our passion in Dental A-Team is to serve more dental practices. Like Tiff and I talk about this often. Our leadership team talks about it. And we just wanted to get to a spot where how can we serve more people? And if you go back in time, that's what started us traveling. Like, why just work in the states we're in? We can only serve so many people. Let's become a nationwide office to be able to serve more people. Then insert the podcast. Like Tiff, the number of lives we're able to connect with on this podcast is downright magical. And then we thought, I don't know, Tiff. I think you may have spurred this. I think I also did, but this one might be a like Tiff push into this next realm that we're headed into. Because we started noticing, honest to goodness, as consultants, we can only reach so many offices traveling. Tiff, how many offices are you able to get to in one year?
Oh my gosh, I think
a sore subject. Like, let me just dump some salt right now.
We're currently trying to evaluate that in the company, by the way, just so you know. So 7 years of being gone every other week has worn on me a bit. But right now I was able to, I think I have 18 practices that I see in person and virtually. And then I have a handful that I see just virtually. But I think we did 18 this year. And only having to travel both weeks, 4 months of the year. So technically, if I wanted to, push myself into another year of chaos, a couple more, but gosh, it just makes me, it makes me incredibly like, I'm so grateful for the opportunity that we have had and that I was afforded just by meeting you. And by the way, everyone listening, like, I had no idea when she offered me this job that she had only seen 2 or 3 offices. That came out later and it was fine. We figured it out. But like, I'm so incredibly grateful, but then it makes me so happy to think how many practices I am able to see, because virtually I am able to reach a lot too. So gosh, I think I usually have between 25 to 30 practices of my own, but then I'm like, I mean, gosh, 25? Like, I don't that's
Mhm.
not enough. Like, my passion in life is to change lives, to
Mhm.
positively impact people in a way that they didn't realize that could come and to make
Totally.
them I love nothing more, you know this, than someone saying like they have more inspiration to do the thing that they love
Mhm.
because of something that I did or said or helped them see. Like sometimes it's just them talking it out to me and they're like, "Gosh, Tiffany, you did so much." Like I said nothing. I'm here for it. But I realized and we realized like I can't reach more people. I can only
Mhm.
reach this many practices and it made me sad. It made us both really sad. Like how is that we are not two people to box in. Let me just put that out there. You put us in a
Agreed.
box, you try to put limitations on us, you try to push down on us at all, and we will buckle back up. We are like a bucking bronco. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what happened. We were like, you cannot put this office limitation on us. There are no limits to the amount of people that we can positively impact. Insert insert Kira's brilliant brain and her next idea. Because I was like, there's gotta be something.
And it was fun because and I think for offices, think about this too. I mean, why do offices expand? Why do you add in
Mhm.
more operatories? Why do we bring on associates? Like, yes, for sure, maybe there's a burnout or maybe there's a desire to have more security in your practice for sure. Like if something happens to you, hence why there's Tiffany, there's other consultants. That's why Tiff does the podcast because my team hates that I do this. I think of it often. I'm like, if I were ever to die, like some random fluke, it could happen. I want to make sure that Dental A Team's legacy continues on. I want to make sure that this is not just a Cura product, but it's a company that can continue to serve even if I'm not here. And so the team, I think, hates that. But for me, I feel like it actually gives a lot of freedom and space, just like dentists should do the same thing. And so when we looked at the numbers of just in the US, and this is not including because we consult offices in Canada, we consult offices, I've had offices in Australia and New Zealand, and Tiff has heard me almost get deported from Canada. So we don't do external like
In
international travel
office.
anymore in
Yeah.
office, but we will virtually consult. But when we started looking just in the US alone, so let's just do that, there's 202,000 active dentists as of 2022. Okay. So those stats are a little bit old. But in the world, currently, the number of active dentists in the world. So it says available data from the FDI and the WHO suggests that there are at least 1.6 million dentists globally, unevenly distributed across the 6 WHO regions. So to me, and like that's just a quick Google search. Please like don't fact check me. Like go do your own Google. And if I was wrong, please email me because I always appreciate being honest. 2023. Again, these are coming down. It says there was an increase of 1% from 2022 to 2023. Looking at the graph, it shows like 186 to 196, which makes me super happy that there's more dentists coming out. Like we are a growing population as opposed to a declining population. But I mean, if Tiff can say she can make 18 office visits in a year and there's 202,000 doctors in just the US and then 1.6 million in the entire globe, to us, it became this passion of how can we serve and reach more people? How can we help more people find their passion, find their reality, find how they can reduce their stress, increase their production, increase and serve more patients, and do it in a way that's going to set you up for success. And so, honestly, Tiff, how long has this been? I think we've been 3 years in the making on this project. It's been a
Yeah.
long, long time that this
Yeah.
has been coming through because we didn't want to just roll something out. We wanted to think through. I mean, Tiff, maybe we can say that we've become a skosh more mature in business. We don't just wing it. Like, is that a
Yeah.
fair statement to say?
It is. It is. I
Yeah.
reluctantly admit that. Mhm. I like winging it.
I love winging it. But when we were thinking about how are we going to be able to
Yeah.
help offices more? How are we going to be able to serve more? It's a different product, it's a different way.
Mhm.
We decided, all right, we need to do something that's more group coaching. And I know that there's kind of this taboo around group. Like, Tiff, what's your thoughts around group coaching and consulting? Like, tell me your initial thoughts because this is what we do with consulting when we ask offices, like, what do you think of consultants? We get like told all the hate, and I really love
Yeah.
throwing that out there. So, like, what's kind of the initial response to group coaching? Because I have my own
Yeah.
opinions around it.
Well, I have done courses in group coaching and like growth and development and stuff on my own quite a few times. And I do have to say, when I first, there's one that I can think of that I signed up for a few years ago. And when I first signed up for it, I was like, I don't know how like into this I'm going to be. Is it going to push me? Am I actually going to do the things that I'm supposed to do in the group? Am I going to fall off? So I really had like mixed emotions over it because I wanted more, but to be frank, like I didn't have the time to dedicate to one-on-one coaching, nor did I have the funds to dedicate to it. And so I was like,
Mhm.
this is honestly like a good gate opening for me. But I went in with mixed emotions and I was like, I don't know that this is going to be enough to push me. I've also done it with workouts, right? With fitness. Like, do I want a personal trainer or do I want to do this group training class? And on one hand, when you think about personal fitness or coaching, I guess, right, it allows you to kind of sit in the back and get a feel for what you actually want. Or what you're willing to put into something. And so you're not front and center, the only person that they're talking to or training. So it allows you to kind of find your space and find your niche. But then on the other hand, you can tend to get lost in that. So
Mhm.
my thoughts on it changed dramatically when I started doing the coaching courses that I was doing outside of Dental A Team when I was getting my own coaching back then, because I thought it wasn't going to work. I thought there's no way. I'm one of a million. Like, how is this even going to be applicable to me? But it freaking was. Like, it worked. It
Mhm.
it was. And then they, just like we do, actually had courses that corresponded with a lot of the stuff that we were learning. And so it was
Mhm.
really cool actually to do kind of, it felt like a self-study. It felt like instead of going on campus, you were taking online classes. And so it was just more self-study. I had more flexibility around it, and I was able to fit it into my life a lot easier. I felt like at that point in my life for what my needs were, I was able to fit it into my life a lot easier than I think I would have been able to had it been any different.
Mhm.
So I think like I still think there's a lot of mixed emotions around it, but I do think like to debunk the idea of I'm never going to do these things, like you just got to be self-disciplined, and there's so many things that come along with courses like this or coaching like this that set you up for success. And I can just tell you hands down right now, Kiera Dent does not allow Dental A Team to not have accountability. And that's the biggest piece, like self accountability, but then accountability from your coaches. Um, Anyways, that was a long answer, but
No, I
that's how I
like
feel
it
about it.
because I think people have that, right? Like, I think group
Yeah.
coaching's dumb, and if I'm gonna pay for this, I want an active coach who's watching me. I don't wanna hide in the masses. Like, how many times have I bought a course and I've done nothing with it?
Yeah.
And so I'm super passionate in Dental A Team that if people are going to work with us, that they better freaking see results. And so I feel like we were a little bit like Santa's elves in the workshop or Willy Wonka. Like, we wanna make sure that what we roll out to be able to serve more people really is something that still maintains true to the core of what Dental A Team is. So being able to have access to a consultant, being able to get true like foundations and results. And so we actually did a beta group last year. Again, who are we, Tiff? Like, we've never done beta, we've never tested things, we've never asked for feedback. And we decided that we wanted to make sure that this really was built because I remember there was a point when we couldn't roll this product, and I think it was you, me, Shelby, Britt, there might have been someone else there, and I asked the question of, "Is this a product that's serving Dental A Team's needs, AKA like Tiff, Kira, the consultants we can't travel as much, or is it meeting the needs of the dentist that we wanna serve?" And I think there was a point where it was serving more our needs than it was serving the dentist needs, and so we reworked the entire product to where now we're rolling out Practice Momentum, and just so you guys know, I am beyond giddy about this product. I'm beyond giddy about how it's going to work because I have found in group coaching, like it's crazy. I go to Tony Robbins and my coach Kareen is absolutely incredible. Like I love her so much. But I actually think the bulk of my learning and growth has been in a group setting. It's from the people I met within a community. I think back, Tiff, you and I went to quite a few group coaching that we did
Yeah.
together and hearing other people's aha moments and their opinions. And our doctor community with our private consulting group, we've been running
Yeah.
that for just over a year now. They get more aha inspiration from each other than they do sometimes even from our coaching. And so practice momentum, what it's going to be, because the other thing we felt that we were going to lack if we went away from the one-on-one consulting was, well, great, now we're going to just coach the doctors. And we've always been a doctor team consulting company. And so again, Santa's workshop, the elves have been working. We've been trying to figure it out. It's been so fun to watch our team look at the needs of the doctors and of the practices, and then to build something that we really do will feel like it will fulfill. So yes, it's less time requirement. Yes, it's less cost than the in-person consulting, but I feel like the results you're going to see from it are going to be just as good, if not better, truly. Like you won't get the hands-on in person. Like that is something you won't get. But every single month, it's going to go on our 3 foundations. So making sure you really set up like your vision and your why, your numbers, and your systemization, like getting that dialed in. And then we throw you into what we call the business success cycle or the system success cycle. And we built it to where the doctor and the teams actually have 12 systems that are going to go hand in hand in tandem. So we'll teach the doctor one thing, and then 2 weeks later, we actually roll it out to your team. So instead of you doctors having to like learn something and go implement it to your team, we actually are doing it. And we've learned over the last several years, we're on year 4, we've done a virtual summit that we've gotten like raving reviews of how do we have such engaging content and how do we make it so fun for teams. And we have teams that literally love to come to our content. And so we made it to where it was super easy. So it's CE for the doctors, CE for the team. And then we realized doctors needed a community. So doctors have every single month a collaboration. There's also an online community for your office managers to ask questions. And then we thought, well, they still need access to a consultant because, like, sure, you're learning this material, but business happens and you have your questions. So every single Thursday, we have what's called ACE, which is Ask Consultants Everything, where you can come in, you can ask about your own practice. You have consultants literally sitting there. Other offices can hear about it too, so you can help each other out. But the crazy cool stuff that we put together, Tiff, Britt, and I have really taken this on. The consultants have helped build the content. But the thought of having a community of doctors in it together to be able to solve your own problems with a consultant at your fingertips, to have a community of people helping each other out, to be able to give you and your team CE where it literally is working in tandem. Like I wish Tony Robbins had something where it was like, Kiera learns this, and then we go and give her a thing to take to her team. Like that would be game changing for me. So I am so giddy about it. Tiff and I have already made quite a few of it. It's online, but then there's also live as well because I refuse to let people fall through the cracks. And guess what? We track your freaking stats. So you better believe if I don't see you tracking stats, we already have a team set up who's going to come and knock on your doorstep basically and
Mhm.
say, where are you at? You signed up for this and we refuse to let you fail. So that's kind of like in a nutshell how it's going to be. So doctor will get content, the team will get similar that's like geared to the team. So it's geared to doctor, geared to team, but the same topic every month. A doctor collaboration where all the doctors, doctor only get together and we talk about hot topics together and serve one another. And then literally every Thursday, kind of like office hours, ask consultants everything. Like literally nothing's off limits. And there's a doctor and an office manager one as well because we figured that's what teams need. That's what offices need. That's what you guys need. And I think it's just going to be a beautiful community. It's already thriving. We've already got people in there. We've already got people who tell us, like, I love this. I feel more confident. And at the end of it, you're going to have a blueprint for your business. So you will walk out of there with your goals, with your systems, with your overhead. Every quarter, we're back tracking it. So there's a lot of tracking for you. But like all those pieces of getting your business organized that I feel like we lack so much, it's literally built into a blueprint. You fill it in every single month. It's freaking magic, and I'm just like, again, everything we built is stuff I wish I would have had, and I think it's just gonna be magical. So, Tiff, those are, like, my thoughts of what it is, how it works, anything
Yeah.
you wanna add to it, because I know you've been a big part of the team, of the doctor,
Yeah.
like I said, it's been a labor of love that we're just freaking giddy to roll out to you guys.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I'm just so excited for the community aspect of it and the fact that even in comparison, right? I said that I've done a few of these and even, group exercise classes and things like that, group training. Like I've done a lot of things in my life and I've done a lot of things like that, but the I think the difference that I see in what we've done to elevate the experiences that even I've had in other forms is that connection still to us, right? Because a lot of times in that group coaching setting, you just get a YouTube video, right? And sometimes
Mhm.
it's live and sometimes you can type in questions and stuff like that, but you don't get the coach ever unless you pay separately. And I think that's something that we were really, really massively aware of when it came to need and when it came to something we could do that serves others, because that's huge for dental team culture, is just being able to serve others. That's how the podcast came about, if I'm honest. So
Mhm.
we looked at that and we were like, how can we continue to serve these people who may not be ready for the one-on-one coaching yet, or may not need it or want it, but sometimes just have a question, and how do they get a hold of us? And so I think I'm just excited about that community aspect, the office hours, where the ACE, where they can come ask us questions. Like, you literally get our consultants sitting there waiting for you to log in and ask questions. And just the discord of the other people. Like, can you imagine, Kiera, just having, could you imagine having this like group chat of consultants all over the country who are consulting practices all the time? And we're like, gosh, I have this weird question. And now I have 20,000 people that I can ask this question of and know that they're in my same industry, my same line of work, and getting something similar. That's what the dentists are going to have. Or if you're a mom, and you're a dad or an auntie, and you're like, gosh, my kid and my niece just did this. Like, what do I do for this? Imagine, like, those types of communities are out there, and we have one now for our doctors. And that is
Mhm.
so incredibly cool to me. That's what I'm most excited about, is for them to not only get the training from us on the systems that they all ask us for, because that is the one thing people come to us for all the time, is those systems, but they also get the accelerated community and things at their fingertips that they just don't have right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
And
that's why I'm excited.
it's just magic. And so
Is
obviously it's Valentine's Day, and we just thought it would be really fun to show the love to you guys. So if this is something where you wanted to dip your toe into consulting, or you're wondering like, hey, I would really love to get it set up. Like I said, there's the foundation. So just so you guys know, a quick overview, we're going to do the foundation. So the first 3 months, you're going to actually build your vision and your org chart. Then you're going to work on your systems of the practice. And then you're going to make sure you got your numbers and your KPIs. And literally, we have the entire thing mapped out with downloadable forms, tracking for you, getting it together. And there's this beautiful blueprint at the end of it that you're going to actually be able to fill in, that has your vision, that has your why, that has your current score where you are today and where you want to be in the next 3, 6, 12 months. We have you map out where your goals are going for the 1, 3, 10. We help you build an org chart. So that in and of itself is going to be massive. And then every single month after that, you and your team are going to have the 12 systems business success cycle, where it takes you through leadership, accountability, marketing plan, the patient journey, tracking your results. So with KPIs and measuring and getting your team bought into all of these as well. Production per hour to help you have that productive schedule, being able to do diagnosing and closing, making sure that you also have reputation management. Like, how do we do those Google reviews? Quality control, so like the OSHA, the HIPAA, getting that there, building an operations manual, time management and delegation as leaders, productive meetings with your whole practice, and also fulfillment, and making sure you know how to hire and onboard an incredible culture. So you and your team will get to go through that. Like we said, every single month the content's dropped for you. You and your team can do it. It's CE, because we thought that'd be easier for you guys to be able to handle that. Plus, you're able to then come to doctor collaboration, meet with your other doctors, and then come to ACE every single Thursday. It's there for you. So, because it is Valentine's Day, for all of you who head on over to thedentallyteam.com and book a call through the end of this month, which, hey, it's leap year. So, through February 29th, we're actually doing 50% off your first month, because I want you to come. I want you to be a part of the community. I want this to be a no-brainer of, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I want. I need a blueprint. I want a community. And don't stress. I understand that group coaching can sometimes help you feel lost. And we are so committed that you will never feel lost, that you will be watched, you'll be tracked, you'll be observed. We watch your stats. We can see your course. We can see how far you've gone through the course. And we literally have built it to where people will go through, they'll follow up with you. No, we're not going to be your one-on-one consultant. If you want that, please chat with us about that. But we
yeah.
wanted it as a way to serve more people, to have an amazing community, but to keep it small. So don't worry, no matter how many people get in there, you'll still feel like it's small, it's intimate, but a wealth of knowledge at your fingertips. So Tiff, I'm so excited. It's our little labor of love. Happy
It
Valentine's Day
is.
to you guys. But that 50% off for this month only is through the end of this month, February 29th. So be sure, go to thedentallyteam.com, book the call. I would love for you guys to join us in there. We'll get to see you. Tiff and I will actually get to see you, engage with you. The other consultants will be there as well. But Tiff, thanks for making this dream become a reality. Because I think,
Mm.
to me, the thought of being able to not just us physically go fly to offices, but to see you in doctor collaboration, to see you on ACE every single week and month is how we're going to be able to help and serve more people and to truly help you get the practice and the life of your dreams. So Tiff, thanks for doing this. I know it's been a huge labor of love. It's taken us so long, but I think what we've built is what you guys have asked for and what you need to carry you through 2024, 2025. The world's going to get rocky, it's going to get shaky, and you need a community of people who are looking ahead, who have been through it and have done it successfully to grow you and your practice and your team to where you need to go.
Thank you, Kiera. You've put in a ton of work to make this happen. And Britt, like the two of you and the consultants doing so much stuff behind the scenes. And it literally takes a village, and we have one.
We do. And we want you to be a part of it. So head on over to thedentalteam.com, join Practice Momentum, get the momentum you and your practice need, 50% off this month. It's only good until February 29th. So I'd love for you guys to join us. Tiff, thanks for being here. Thanks for growing Dentally Team. Thanks for making it what it is. It's been a journey and we're excited for the next piece of it. So for all of you, thank you for listening. I can't wait to welcome you into Practice Momentum. And as always, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time on the Dentally Team Podcast.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dentally Team Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.